Live from Fort Worth, we welcome race fans one and all back to Green Flag TV, where tonight we get set to kick off race number 22 of the TNGG IEL Truck Series. This is the Texas Motor Speedway from Fort Worth, and your running of the Yeehaw 200. It is getting down to it where we are closing in on the end of the season here. In this one, only 6 races will remain after tonight, and it is all to play for at the end of this one, as these guys are starting to really ramp it up at the championship. It is the second time that we have returned to this 1.5 mile speedway. The first time around, we were running the old way out from 2008, way back at the start of the season. It was caution filled. We'll see if it'll be the same today on a much more modernized layout that we first saw come into play way back in 2017. Your championship standings entering tonight's race look a bit something like this, with Aaron Raymond still on the top of the points board. Christopher Howell still sits in that number 2 spot, and Brad Slagle still runs back in 3rd as well. Raymond has continued to stretch his gap up at the head of the points boards, and it is looking like that is going to be of no change anytime soon. So for the likes of Raymond and Moore, it's not going to look like it'll be an easy fight for these guys further down throughout the field to try to catch up to him. Critically tonight, if you're looking for some more monetary value with your races, how about the fact that this is a cash race tonight? $100 will go to the race winner, provided they're within the top 26 in the point standings. So there's going to be a lot to play for on the line for that one as well, and no doubt drivers are going to be very interested to see which one of them could very well come out on top and find themselves with a good run and that extra $100 at the end of the night here. So qualifying is currently, as we work here, underway from the Texas Motor Speedway, and a lot of drivers still up on the racetrack. Brady Powers among them, one of the newer drivers into the TNGG IEL Truck Series season, is looking to put himself with a good time up at the sharp end of the field with just 2.5 minutes down. He currently sits number 2 on the qualifying charts as he crosses start-finish. It will not be enough for provisional pull. So a lot of drivers looking to make themselves with some good runs, and among them is Aaron Raymond. So as Raymond fires it up around the racetrack, we'll take a ride on board, and Raymond will show you just how different this track is compared to the older version that we ran way back at the start of the season. So overall in qualifying, you saw there that Aaron Raymond was not able to get any better than a 10th place for himself here in this one. Meanwhile, Tristan Bear puts himself 24th on the qualifying sheets at the moment. And for Aaron Raymond, I have to say I'm a bit surprised that he found himself struggling so much, but you saw how much wheel work was going in underneath that machine. This track is still just as hard to drive as the predecessor layout was, so it's going to be a difficult fight for all of these guys tonight, trying to get themselves sorted with as much speed as they possibly can muster, as Tristan Bear works out of turn number 4, currently sits at 24th on the qualifying sheets. Can he improve? Only up to 23rd. So Tristan Bear looking set to be started this race or from the tail end of the field. But with all of that said and done, our starting grid is all but set at the moment, as we're just waiting now in the last few seconds to tick away here from your qualifying session. And with that, we're going to take it down trackside and show you what your starting grid is going to be looking like as we get set to go racing for 133 laps from the Texas Motor Speedway. On a pole position, it is going to be Brandon Gregg lining it up with that number 1 spot for Greg up on the top of the point sports. Christopher Howell sits back in the number 2 spot. Brady Powers from Mach 1 Racing will be in 3rd. Robert Jordan is in 4th. Paul Witt is in 5th with Bobby Blowers in 6th. Thomas Lane Jr. is 7th with Julian Ballou in 8th. John Holiday is 9th with Selena Thompson in 10th. Aaron Raymond and Brad Slagle will round out row number 6. Moving down to the field, you got John Bawalda Jr. and Carson Batol in 13th and 14th. Mike Allen is at 15th with Archie Buchanan in 16th. Trevor Trago making his first start of his TNGG career will be on 17th with Greg Pillar in 18th. Robert Marl is 19th with Ryan McRoberts rounding out the top 20. From there, you've got Dale Rapp, Casey Ellis, Tristan Bayer, Caleb McNeil also making his first start here in this one. Bill Hales and Tim Setzer will be rounding out the back end of this field. There's a few names of interest coming on over into tonight's race, most notably I think the likes of Caleb McNeil and more, all going to be looking to get themselves with some good runs over here in the qualifying sessions, as McNeil, one of the drivers we just mentioned, making his first start here today, and he's not the only one. Trevor Trago, same story. Carson Batesall, also, of course, going to be returning for the Wanted Goons crew. He's going to be looking to put himself up towards the top. How about Tim Setzer, though? He's only made 1 start so far this season, the number 14 Tundra has. The last we saw him out was for that very first race at Texas that we had way back in May, and of course Setzer did not finish that race. He started 19th, ended up finishing 26 out of 26 drivers, having a DNF early on. So Setzer looking for some better luck here in this one. He now remains the lone driver to grid on up. With all of that said and done, all drivers are gridded on up. We'll listen to these cars as they fire up, and we get set to go racing right here, right now at Texas Motor Speedway. Working down the back straightaway for the one and only time before we go to green flag racing here. A lot of drivers at the tail end of this field having to scramble and kind of get themselves sorted on now. There are a few drivers with end of the longest line penalties here in this one that are trying to serve them now, but the field itself working through turn numbers 3 and 4, so it's looking like some of these issues might not get sorted out, and we might not have all 26 trucks with us here by the time we get set to go racing for that green flag. But for now, the pace truck going to make that pull down and into pit road. We are happy that you're joining us here on a beautiful Saturday night as we get set to go racing for the second time in the Lone Star State. Into the Geico Restart Zone. Green flags up in the air. We are underway in Texas. Trouble for a few drivers early on as several trucks are into pit road. Dale Rapp and Robert Amaro are going to be among them as a whole host of trucks having some problems here early on, trying to get themselves sorted in the early goings. Brendan Gregg has led the first lap to green, and critically, you saw as well Carson Batesall had been spun around on that opening lap way at the tail end of the field as well. Here's what happened on lap number 1, as it was a bit of an accordion effect at the tail end of this field, and you see everybody trying to anticipate that restart to get themselves going, and a big stack up, and Batesall is hit from behind by one of the Havalli machines, and he spins down to the bottom. Luckily, not a lot of damage on that number 59 truck, so he sits 23rd, hoping for a caution so he can get himself sorted up at the sharp end of the field. Brendan Gregg and Paul Witz duking it down for the race lead as we fire it back down and into turn numbers 3 and 4. This time by Greg, holding the bottom side here, but it's a difficult thing to do at a track that's got so low grip. We continue to fight our way out of turn number 4. Further behind, Aaron Raymond running a good wrench Chevrolet as opposed to his Camping World scheme that we usually see Raymond sporting to board that car. And now Thomas Lane Jr. going to be trying to tuck it in line for that number 6 spot, I believe. Julian Ballou having problems, to say the very least. Selena Thompson getting physical with Robert Jordan down the back straightaway as they fired off of turns 1 and 2 down the back stretch. As Ballou trying to keep it in line, and now Ballou into the outside wall that time through, and he is still struggling. So Ballou looking to potentially be faded to the back with all of his problems that he's been having at the moment. Robert Jordan, meanwhile, hanging on for 4th. Selena Thompson now has Raymond down the bottom as he'll be looking to take that one out of turn number 2, working the back straightaway, lap number 5. And Raymond sends it in deep. He's going to door the side of Thompson, and around they go into turn number 3 and sliding up to the outside wall. Caution's out for the first time. Heads up, watch out as Thompson's going to get nicked by one of the Haviland cars. Believe that to have been Caleb McNeil, and it was McNeil that just clipped Thompson coming out of turn numbers 3 and 4. And that will bring on caution flag number 1. So a very messy opening first few laps here in this one, as that got hectic, to say the very least. And here's what happened between Thompson and Thomas Lane Jr. It kind of goes without saying. Sorry, Aaron Raymond, excuse me, as Raymond just they make contact mid-corner and around they go hard into the outside wall. I'm curious to see if it was a case of Thompson coming down or if it was Raymond that came up. We'll get another look. I don't know. I think Thompson may have come down a bit on Aaron Raymond to cause all of this. We'll go on board with Raymond. See what the good wrench number 6 saw in the midst of all of this, as Thompson work at the top and a bit of a hip check, and around they go. And that's a hard hit into the outside wall for Aaron Raymond, who's just got to kind of sit tight. And then, of course, Caleb McNeil, right at the back end of all of this, sees the tail end of the wreck. Stacks up. Whoa, look out. And a little bit of a nick, but I don't think that's anything too bad. So all's well ends well. One more look at this one here, around the turn number 3 and 4, as 1, 2, and hard into the outside wall. Quite a few trucks ended up coming down to pit road on that deal. It's looking like everybody from about 11th on back. So Bill Hales, 10th place on up, all opted to stay out. So Greg, Howell, Lane, Slago, Bawalda, Pillar, Bayer, McRoberts, McNeil, and Bill Hales all sitting now on the lead lap. Tim Setzer, by the way, has not opted to take it to the race start in this one. So it's looking like we will have just a 25 truck field here in this one, as the pack works off of turn number 4 into the quad oval. And it sits to be an average Joe Motorsports Tech for Troops 1-2. Caution flag number 1 on the Speedway. We're going to take a quick step back. You're watching the Yeehaw 200 and the TNGG IEL Truck Series on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV. Lights have gone out over the Texas Motor Speedway, or at least aboard the pace truck, and we'll get set to go racing for the second attempt in this one. It was a very messy opening 5 laps or so before we got to our first caution flag, and that came when Selena Thompson and Aaron Raymond got together over in turn number 3. We will give it a second go here as the pace truck will pull down and into pit road. Brennan Gregg will remain in control as he works out of turn numbers 3 and 4. Green flag is going to be up in the air. Starter with control, and we are back underway. Running through the high banks of turn numbers 1 and 2, looking to be a much cleaner start this time by, as Greg and Christopher Howell and Thomas Lane Jr. will all tuck in line for 1, 2, and 3. Working through turn numbers 3 and 4. Deeper in the pack is where all the side-by-side action is as we hightail it out of turn number 4 into the quad oval, and it is a hornet's nest of trucks. From about 5th on back, Caleb McNeil, John Bawalda Jr. trying to establish the momentum runs for themselves as they will be powering side by side through turn numbers 1 and 2. And a bit further behind as well, 3 wide down the back straightaway. Raymond trying to regain lost ground. Robert Jordan is in the middle. And way up on the top is going to be Brady Powers with the Wanted Goons crew driving it through and home. And Powers will pick up the number 11 spot. Paul Witt's kind of getting a bit all over the place. Saw him out of shape on the backstretch, and now looking to be out of shape as well as we run down to turn numbers 1 and 2. Up to the top shelf is going to be Brady Powers. Sorry, that's a 90 truck. We're going to go 4 wide off of turn number 2 to the back straightaway. 4 abreast in the 90 of Greg Pillar. Not that Greg Pillar, excuse me. Yeah, the number 90 truck there backing out. That is the 90 truck. 90 on the truck, 54 scored on the pylon. As Greg Pillar takes the wise move on backing out, but boy, that got intense for a hot minute as we work out of turn number 2 down the backstretch. Still 3 wide, and now we're going to go 4 again over turn number 2. This is so close, and it can't work, as again, Pillar forced to bail. Bobby Blowers powers through on the top shelf. Robert Jordan drives through to number 12. And all the while, Carson Baintel, who got dumped on lap 1, coming to the green flag, is now fighting his way out through the field, works to the inside of Pillar. Boy, DJ couldn't be here tonight, but this is the kind of race that he is missing out on, and I'm going to be letting him know about that one as, oh my goodness, what a battle we've got going for ourselves. We're working through turn numbers 3 and 4, back down into towards that front stretch on the quad oval. I think finally we'll be able to breathe a little bit. The restarts at Texas are always hectic ones, and that trend certainly ringing true in the TNGG IEL Truck Series. Tristan Bear way up the racetrack in 1 and 2. Lets Aaron Raymond through, and now possibly going to lose out to Brady Powers as well. Powers fights to the bottom side, and Bobby Blowers is just tucked in line as well. John Bawalda Jr. and Caleb McNeil scrapping it out for themselves well out of turn number 4. Paul Witt in the fray. Just when you think these guys have maybe had enough, they say, no thank you. We'll keep our battles going just a little bit longer. Thank you very much. Paul Witt getting alongside John Bawalda Jr. as we work the back straightaway down in the turn numbers 3 and 4. Bawalda and his Valvoline machine just trying to hang on. He's going to get so close to the back bumper, and he's going to bobble off of the second groove. Here comes Raymond with a charge. Raymond goes top to bottom. Perfect crossover into the quad oval, and Raymond scores 6th down to turn 1. Aaron Raymond just able to poke in line. And I just think that maybe we'll be able to catch a breath. I'm going to be careful with those words because no doubt this field is going to come back to make me eat those words. in a little bit here if this fighting continues up the way it has been. Carson Batol trying to put Tristan Baer under fire. Baer goes way down to the bottom as Batol works at the top shelf of 3 and 4. And the 59 truck going to be able to pull clear. Outside pass for the 59. Takes up 12. Raymond now trying to put the pressure on Paul Witt, as Witt will work his way into the inside of 1 and 2. Raymond trying to power home on the bottom shelf, but he's going to get loose down from the low side. Still has the nose in. Fighting for the final spot inside the top 5. And Raymond is through. Raymond pulls clear, tracks up. And now could try to reel in Brad Slagle up the road. Brennan Gregg runs in the lead still, about 3/4 of a second clear of his teammate Christopher Howell. Thomas Lane Jr. has picked up 3rd with Brad Slagle running back and forth. So at the moment, Lane is the only truck that's holding up. An Average Joe Motorsports 1, 2, 3. Further back in the field, Wanted Goons trying to make some noise, working to the top side of the 40 of Bill Hales is Carson Batol. Looking like Hales will just pull clear for the time being, as behind them, Baer, Allen, McRoberts, and more all in the fray. The racing has been aggressive all night long. There's been no yield. Look out as Carson Batol slides out of turn number 4 down and into the infield grass. He's going to get himself sorted. And this is what happened to the 59 truck. Just got loose out of the final corner and will clip the commitment line, but I think he might be able to escape that one as he cuts across the infield grass and will rejoin without any incident. Baer, Allen, McRoberts, all tucked in, line astern for 13th back through 15th. Tristan Baer tracking up and wide out of turn number 4, and it may have just clipped the outside wall out of that final corner. Able to throw it back in line. McRoberts down to the bottom of 1 and 2. And McRoberts tracks up and clears for 14th. Behind, Baer and Holiday. Run line astern. Robert Jordan under fire by Bill Hales for 11th. Bill Hales on a charge through the field. He's already up 14 positions. Not as much as Caleb McNeil, though, who's up 15 into the top 10. The grip is so low right now around the Texas Motor Speedway. It has not been a track that has invited a lot of grip in it. The track temp is pretty up there, 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It's at that point where the track starts to get a bit slicker, and right in the middle of the day, it's not going to get much better. John Bualda Jr. now under fire by Bobby Blowers as Blowers trying to work to the bottom of his blue Chevy Silverado. Works the back straightaway, and in the thick of all of this, you still got that 89 truck of Caleb McNeil. Working the bottom of the number 7, and the 7 truck there of Brady Powers just able to avoid disaster. Oh, you saw McNeil try to go for the lunge down the inside of that number 7 Sonics machine. Just couldn't find the nose, though, and now that gives Powers the momentum. He needs to try to run down John Bualda Jr., but he won't go for the overtake. So we'll run line astern as we duke it out down the front stretch towards turn 1. Just behind, Hales and McNeil exchanging hands, exchanging blows. Waldo getting a bit loosey-goosey out of turn 2. Look up front to Brandon Gregg, has been steadily caught more and more by Christopher Howell. You see over the last several laps, that gap has slowly but surely been coming down. Trouble front straightaway, Selena Thompson with big right side damage escaping through the grass, and now Howell gonna get around Brandon Gregg as Gregg hits pit road. He's not the only one. Thomas Lane Jr. is in, so scheduled pit stops underway. First, what happened to Selena Thompson? Slams the outside wall out of turn 4 and skirts across the bottom of the racetrack and able to recover. A lot of trucks working into pit road now this time by. These are all guys that did not pit under that latest yellow flag. So we are expecting Howell and Moore to come down to pit road. Christopher Howell is in. Bobby Blowers gets a bit unsettled out of turn number 4. Open up the door for Brady Powers to take a run. And most people in that pit under that caution, they took fuel only, so they're able to go a good bit longer, about 5 laps longer. Flowers, the last truck ever waited in the initial group to come down to pit before we see everybody else funnel in. Although Blowers not showing like he's going to come in just yet. Paul Witt will hit pit road this time by. You can see the last pit stop times on these guys screen on the left-hand side of your screen on the timing tower, then the lap that these guys have pitted on as well. You get a proper idea of just who we're waiting on to come on down and into pit road. Trevor Trago needed to pit as well. Aaron Raymond locks it down, and he's just able to make it down to pit road in time. So Raymond now into pit road for his run of stops. How about Caleb McNeil trying to fight John Walter Jr.? This is for on-track position. McNeil to the bottom of Buwalda, now catching up to the 35. Heads up! As they'll try to split Casey Ellis, and Buwalda gets stacked up. Ellis getting in the way. And that's going to allow Caleb McNeil to fire through as Ellis just trying to survive at the moment on the racetrack. Tristan Baer now having some problems, and the caution flag is out. And it is for Caleb McNeil, stopped against the outside wall in turn 2. So McNeil has taken a heavy shot to the outside wall, and that brings out the caution for now the second time. First, what happened to Tristan Baer as, whoa, slam into the outside wall and fires across the infield grass. And then just seconds later, Caleb McNeil will lose control in 1 and 2 all by himself. And, oh, heavy shot into the outside barrier. That is about as heavy of a hit as you can take. Hang on, this is going to get wild. Oh. Heavy, heavy hit for Caleb McNeil as he body slammed that outside wall. Powers, Blowers, Jordan, and Moore all down and into pit road for service. This is going to really upset the balance of pit stops here as a lot of trucks now having to stay out to try to get laps back. So, oh boy. Whole host of dramas here in this one, as we will we'll try to get in touch with one or two of these guys here under the caution flag. And my goodness, what a ride it has been. And I don't think anybody expected this race to be, I think, this dramatic in the early going here. We expected this to be one of the more tame races, given that, you know, Texas's reputation and all that. But no, sir, it has been go, go, go. We'll get a chat here with the likes of Paul Witt, the driver that currently runs 13th on the field so far. Paul, this is Noel Rambo here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Sure do. Gotcha.
Well, boy, oh boy, it has been nothing but mayhem from the get-go, and you've been right in the thick of it from start to finish. Walk us through how your race is feeling so far.
Well, you know, I was going to stay out there when that one caution came out, but I was like, yeah, if I can top off just with fuel, get no tires and some fuel, I can go a little bit longer and stretch it out. So that's what I did, and just got a little mishap. Truck's feeling good, though, so it's all out from here.
Well, with all of that said in mind, I mean, Texas Motor Speedway, it's in all of our mile and a halves, it's been pretty much the most chaotic one we've seen, but it's not something you'd expect given Texas's reputation for sometimes providing some more lackluster races. What do you think it is about the races here, though, that have been both on the old and the new so drama-filled and with drivers seeming to have no patience out there?
Well, the setup is loose, so once you get a little loose and squirrely, it's real easy for somebody to get up on you, and if you got a truck on your outside, it can bring you around. The air will bring you around. So you got to be cautiously aggressive. That's what I'm trying to do to get through here. Looks like I got to start at the back of the pack again and work my way through. But the truck's feeling really good tonight. This DR metal roofing truck, it feels pretty good. So I got a lot of confidence in this thing.
You're going to be restarting P12, but you're going to have to get that wave around and restart a single file at the tail end of the field here. What are you going to have to do to see if you can survive this restart and work your way back up to the top 10?
Just got to be aggressive, but you got to be cautious too. So got to be cautiously aggressive, and it's a pretty long race. We got 3 more pit stops that we have to do. So I just don't want the leaders taking off and being gone from me.
Cautiously aggressive is, I think, as good a term as ever to put it. We'll let you get back to work. Good luck on the restart here.
All right, thank you.
That's Paul Witt, the driver, going to be restarting from the number 12 spot on the racetrack and make that 11th potentially, as Archie Buchanan will file his way back down and into pit road. Lights go out aboard the Irish safety truck. We'll go 1 lap to green, and there is a mass amount of drivers that all have to get waved around the truck. Everybody in front of race leader Brandon Gregg is being waved around. They will all have to catch up to the tail end of the pacing line, having stayed out, just to ensure that they do not lose a lap because of the timing of this caution. It's unfortunate the timing of that caution, as this is, I think, shot a lot of driver strategies now in the foot because of this. But if there's ever going to be a chance where we'll get a wild restart, this very well could be it. Once again, I want to thank the TNGG IEL Truck Series for bringing us on board for the entirety of their season. They have been running effectively sponsorless throughout much of the season. So the fact that they've been able to put on such a great season for us here with the fields we've had has just been absolutely phenomenal. It's been an absolute joy to be able to cover all of their season, and I'm hoping we'll be returning for season number 5 as well. As goodness gracious, that would just be the cherry on top of what's been a phenomenal first year for Green Flag TV and our production, or our broadcast work that we've done here on the iRacing service. Pace truck is down and in. Brandon Gregg now waits for the iRacing starter to drop that green flag. Only 3 lanes are side by side to everybody else having been waved around. Pace truck is off. Green flag's in the air. And we go back racing in Fort Worth. Already we're seeing Mike Allen get aggressive on the inside. Or sorry, that would be one of the lap trucks that's getting a bit more aggressive down from the bottom. This is the 37 machine that's working to the inside there. Mike Allen losing out to John Holliday now. Oh, sorry, that's Caleb McNeil working his way up and by. And Robert Jordan is hitting pit road. So Jordan with problems here on the early going. He'll cycle to the pits. While the rest of your field remains single file in the run down to turn 1. Herb Ballwitt saying that these trucks are loose today, and I think all the wheel work that we saw Raymond putting in the midst of qualifying proves that. Now we're seeing what Casey Ellis can do as he'll work to the outside, trying to keep Thomas Lane Jr. at bay. Not able to do so. Thomas will find his way through. Nine, John Holliday will sneak to the outside, and Powell will go through on the bottom. Aaron Raymond in hot pursuit. Brendan Gregg putting down the fast lap of the race that last time by. Logged a 30.29 with the number 27. Oh, tight again between the title contenders. Raymond leaning on the door of Howell that time by out of 3 and 4. Now Christopher Howell trying to see if he can't chop down to the bottom and keep Raymond at bay. Can't do it. Raymond is through. Look out! The 89 bobbling up the racetrack. Caleb McNeil having a huge scare as he washed up the track and nearly body slammed the outside wall. Already, this is setting the stage for it could be one of the most exciting races we've had so far in 2023. For the TNGG IEL Truck Series, Paul Witt, Brad Slagle, and more all in trouble. Selena Thompson is back into the infield grass on the front straightaway. And Thompson sliding through, just able to recover it back up and out. And this is what happened to Selena Thompson to send her back into the infield grass, just loops the back end, and will take the shortcut straight across the quad oval. Kind of jumping across the old legends over there on the infield as she'll work her way back up and around with no further incident. Didn't get into anybody, luckily. Now Bill Hales, Brad Slagle, Thomas Lane Jr., and more, all being put under heavy fire. Slagle forced the bottom, trying to find his way further up into the top 10. He's going to get loose, though, and just again able to find a hole. Thomas Lane Jr. fights the outside lane still. Bill Hales working the bottom. The MW Construction Silverado up front. Raymond trying to keep Mike Allen at bay. Allen, of course, having won 2 races so far in the season. Second coming at Michigan a few weeks back. And he is now looking to settle this one anytime soon as Christopher Howell will fight to the inside and pick off Allen. And that sends Allen outside of the top 5. Paul Witt now looks for the bottom. And will move Allen down to 7th. Allen rapidly losing positions over here for the Texas Motor Speedway, and right there, Paul Witt jumps up and clears the 60. Oh, Slagle getting out of shape and heads up as Bill Hales finds his way through. Cautions out for the 3rd time. And Selena Thompson slowing on the bottom. She'll pull to a stop. And Brendan Gregg inherits the race lead. This is down all by her lonesome into turns 3 and 4. Oh, again, loops back end. And oh! Heavy, heavy impact into the outside wall. Second big hit there for Selena Thompson, who drills the topside barriers in 3 and 4 and Look at the back end lift off of the ground with how hard of a hit that was, over 150 miles an hour. And she'll work to the bottom. Caution is out for the third time on lap 48. We are going to get a jump back. You are watching the TNGG IEL Truck Series, race number 22 in the Yeehaw 200. As pit stops are back underway. Lights are out aboard the Iris and safety truck. We'll get set to go green flag racing this time by as we are doubled on up, just as it should be. A whole host of drivers coming on in under this latest caution flag. Only the top 3 rows opted not to pit. going to make this for a wild, wild restart as the base truck is in. Greg and Raymond will be lining it up. 1-2 on the front row into the restart zone. Green flag is back up and in the air. Number 27 truck firing it up to the race lead. You got the 6 of Aaron Raymond trying to follow suit. Christopher Howell working to the bottom of turn numbers 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. Already we're seeing drivers chop down to the bottom. Raymond trying to go for the race lead. Down into turn numbers 3 and 4. Greg left the door open and Raymond kicked it open. And now Aaron Raymond with his foot in the door. He'll slam it shut as Raymond finally takes the race lead for lap number 53. Paul Witt working up to the top shelf of Christopher Howell trying to get up and around. Bobby Blowers also in the fray, looking to fight it down for the 5th spot, just down behind. And it's looking like Howell will keep that one secured over for turn numbers 3 and 4. As these tires gradually get back up to temperature, it won't be long before we see the loose nature of these trucks start to kick in. Brennan Gregg really applying that pressure to the back of Aaron Raymond, and now Paul Witt trying to do the same. Witt goes top to bottom. Paul Witt sends one up the inside of 3 and 4, and now drifting up, and Brennan Gregg leaning on the door of the 429. And the Toyota Tundra from Paul Witt goes through to second. And now it's AJM teammate battling with Howell trying to get around Greg for third. Just behind them, the 34 of Bobby Blowers trying to find some way, any way to get through. A bit of a rub that time by as Greg again lean on the door of Howell. And the 34 of Bobby Blowers tucks it in line as we send it down the inside of 1 and 2. Through the no limits back stretching down to 3 and 4. You can still see the 27 tracking clear, and it's looking like Bobby Blowers will have a fairly secure run up the road. Back behind, Holiday, Slagle, McRoberts, Allen, Baytall, and Moore all line astern. And now John Holiday to the inside of Brad Slagle. Holiday trying to fight clear. Brad Slagle still working the top shelf of 3 and 4. And now just in front, Bill Hales getting to the back bumper of Brady Powers trying to move him out of the way. Powers has been doing such a fine job so far all throughout today, and it's looking like finally he might be at a bit of a loss. As Brad Slagle will work to the bottom as well. Bill Hales has managed to get clear. As Slagle tries to follow suit. Brennan Gregg hits pit road, this time by the number 27 truck, bails out for his second scheduled stop of the evening. Everybody else works the backstretch. Rhyming Roberts trying to get up and underneath John Holiday down to the 3 and 4. Get it a little bit tight as we work out of the final corners. Hales leading the way on the front stretch, while Brady Powers is tucking in line. Further up the road, Paul Witt under fire from Christopher Howell. This is for the number 2 spot as Howell will take that one high and wide around the top shelf, and Christopher Howell is through to second. And none too soon as Paul Witt will be the next truck into pit road. closing in on that critical halfway point. As we continue to log laps, John Holiday looking again at the right McRoberts, as McRoberts having to get a bit loosey-goosey down to the backstretch. Slagle just tucked up with McRoberts here this time by, as McRoberts funnels to the inside, and now Slagle drops to 7th. What a day it has been already, and we're not even halfway through. Raymond now at a pit road. So Raymond, the next driver in. Meanwhile, Bill Hales working the top shelf of the 7 of Brady Powers to the backstretch. Powers still looking to maybe send one down the bottom of 3 and 4 this time through. That'd be a bold move. Won't stop him, though, as Powers takes it to the bottom. Hales will give him the room to work with on the top as Howell now hits pit road. Move this now to the battle for on-track second place. Hales working the top of 1 and 2 down that no limits backstretch, and now trying to fight into 3 and 4. Brad Slagle slowing, coming to pit road. See, we're taking the strategy of coming down one at a time instead of all together as a group. Further back in the field, Archie Buchanan and Greg Pillar now side by side for what is now 12th on the racetrack, and it's looking like Buchanan may have lost that battle as Greg Pillar drives by on the top side of the racetrack. How about Trevor Trago making his series debut here? Finding that with John Holiday now, and Holiday's no slouch either, so Trago picking him off is no small feat. The 37 truck working through turn numbers 3 and 4 to the front straightaway. And we finally tick off that halfway marker, so 67 down, about 66 and a half to go. Ryan McRoberts as well, trying to get his elbows out and reel in Bill Hales just up the road. As Hales continues to work that Chevy Silverado around 1 and 2, just behind Mike Allen. Losing out to John Holiday, as Holiday slipping further back. Here comes Brennan Gregg now with a big head of steam fighting the bottom side. How about Casey Ellis and Archie Buchanan again? Getting tucked in line with their own little battle. And McRoberts charges past Hales. We've now seen a lot of trucks that we have not yet seen pit, still running out there on the racetrack, but a good chunk of these guys like Aaron Raymond are now working to unlap themselves from this field, and Raymond already up there. He just got around Powers. Raymond looking to try to unlap himself from Bobby Blowers in the next little while or so. Currently lapping about 2/10 of a second, 2/10 of a lap quicker than Blowers is. I think Brady Powers is using Raymond to try to reel that gap in as well. Hales and Trago now run line astern as well, and the battles are starting to split apart a bit more. Bobby Blowers losing time back to Brady Powers. As Raymond trying to get him around and unlap himself in 14th. That's allowed Powers to reel in Bobby, and whoa boy. Raymond not going to appreciate being cut off like that. He's got guys like Brendan Gregg right behind him as well. Now Raymond to the top, shove a 1 and 2. Brave move, and now what does Brady Powers do? He's right in the thick of this thing. And Paul Witt's trying to get around these guys as well. 3 wide, Raymond is loose. He's loose to the back end, and he's able to wrestle it back underneath him. Brendan Gregg gets around to both of them. Raymond going to have to watch as Gregg drives away in the distance. Raymond's overdriving Goodwrench number 6, and he's struggling heavily for it. He's losing the back end more and more. He can't keep doing this. He is only costing himself. Brady Powers trying to find the bottom of 1 and 2, side by side for the race lead, and Brendan Gregg stretches his legs. Paul Witt, Christopher Howell in the fray as well. This is getting nuts. The 3 trucks behind your battle for the lead here are all fighting out for net P2 on the racetrack, we believe, and they're going to go 3 wide behind, down into turn numbers 3 and 4. This is going to end in disaster. I'm calling it right now. There's no way they can keep this going for long. Raymond loses 2 more spots. And now the lead lap trucks being pushed by the lappers. And they're going to split them 4 wide. It turns 1 and 2. What a move. Talk about synchronized splitting. Brady Powers getting caught off guard, and Raymond loses the back end. Slams the inside wall. The Goodwrench Silverado is junked, and that is championship critical. A huge mistake for Aaron Raymond. Could cost him an 80-plus point gap in the championship with just 5 races left to go after tonight. Absolutely critical moves that we've just seen, and Raymond is going to be down and out of the fight. We have got to get a look at that one more time. Holy cow. Take a look on what happened here coming around to turn numbers 1 and 2 as, whoa. We'll back it up just a little bit further as, goodness gracious. This is going to be coming around all the way down from turn 3 all the way back around to 1. Raymond has found his way to pit road, by the way, and he's going to be effectively out of the race now because of this. Take a look at all of this chaos here. Witt and Howell were sizing these guys up. They're trying to fight a way through. They're trying to fight by them as well. And we split them 4 wide through turn numbers 1 and 2. And right on cue, Raymond loops the back end and goes hard into the inside wall. Are you not entertained? Is what I have to say to that, as now Brady Powers fires it round the top of Bobby Blowers for the race lead, and Blowers hits pit road. Powers will lead his first laps of the night. Oh, and look out as Blowers loops the back end of pit entry, backing it up, and that's going to stack up half the field trying to get into pit road. It doesn't end. It doesn't end. It's just pandemonium. It is complete and unbridled chaos at the moment. This is on board with Ryan McRoberts entering pit road. He's going to see there is Blowers spinning around. Oh, there's more contact behind. And then, that's a huge yikes moment for me. This is on board with Hales now. It's a bit of a ding on the left-hand side to watch as Blowers backs it up, and whoops, pardon me. Let me just duck my way through. Oh. Powers is into pit road as well. Greg Pillar's in as well. That cycles Brendan Gregg officially through to the race lead now. Howell second, Paul Witt third, DJ, I wish you were here right now to see all of this because, my God, this has been legendary stuff. This race is getting dangerously close to making me love Texas Motor Speedway, but I think it's a testament as well to these drivers and how skilled they are to put on such a great show for us. As Howell takes it to the race lead, sends one down the inside of Brandon Gregg, picks up the lead in 1 and 2. Fairly easy overtake there. Brandon Gregg didn't put up too much of a fuss with that one, as the Average Joe Motorsports duo will now run 1-2 up at the top. I have next to no words. Let's recap a bit. It's been a chaotic first half of this race. Christopher Howell, the driver running number 2 in the points here, is up in front. Now, we're still not 100% sure if he can make the rest of the race. We think he's going to miss 1 or 2 more. So it's not certain if Howell will be able to get 10 for a championship. Brad Slagle is another big name, though, that runs in 4th. He sits less than 100 points back at the moment from Aaron Raymond. Raymond now down and confirmed out of the race with that heavy shot to the inside wall. Out of turn 2, back on lap 73. Sits now 8 laps down. How do you react to this? How do you respond? How can Slagle capitalize what he might be thinking now? Because this is huge. That massive gap that we were talking about entering tonight is going to be annihilated unless something big happens to Average Joe Motorsports throughout the course of the night. I got nothing. I have absolutely nothing. I mean, these trucks have been loose all night long. We talked to Paul Witt under caution, and he was saying the same. Whew. What we do know is at long last, I'm able to catch the smallest of breathers. So with all of that said and done, we are now well into the second half here of the race here tonight. So I think it's time we take a run down top to bottom, and we'll show you how everything lines on up as we continue to advance our way further and further into race number 22. Christopher Howell leads the way. Brandon Gregg just behind is hitting pit road with Paul Witt now picking up the number 2 spot. Brad Slagle is slated to pick up the podium because of that. Trevor Trago is finding out with Brady Powers at the moment for 3rd. Carson Baytall will be in the number 6 spot once he gets by Brandon Gregg here. Bobby Blowers just behind him, running in 7th now. Bill Hales will be back in the number 8 spot with Ryan McRoberts in 9th. It'll be Mike Allen to round out the top 10. Thomason Jr. will pick up 11th here with John Holiday, bringing it up at 12th. John Holiday Jr. will be in 13th spot with R.J. Buchanan picking up 14th. Greg Pillar is in 16th, and he's the first truck 1 lap down. Paul Witt now works his way to pit road as well. Casey Ellis will be in 17th with Dale Rapp in 18th. Robert Jordan and Robert Amaro round out the top 20. 20 trucks remain on the racetrack. Raymond, Thompson, McNeil, Bayer, and Ballou all down and out of the race tonight. So with all of that said and done, we're going to take a quick step back. You are watching the Yeehaw 200 live on Green Flag TV. What a race this is shaking up to be. Welcome back to Green Flag TV, where we find ourselves in the throes of the last 40 laps coming on up before too long. You've been watching this big battle for what was first fifth, then fourth, then third. How about we move up to Trevor Trago and the likes of Brady Powers starting to scrap it out for the on-track race lead, as we'll take 40 to go. This time by in the Yeehaw 200. It has been non-stop insanity tonight, and it is only looking like it's going to get more and more intense from here on out, as Trago takes that 40 to go mark, and Powers has been running him down over the last several laps, and it's looking like the Sonics Ford F-150 could make a run in the race lead and lead some more laps from the Texas Motor Speedway. This has now been our longest green flag run that we've had so far tonight. We went green way back on lap 51. We've now run about 40 laps under the green flag. And we're hoping that this trend is going to continue as the night moves along. So a lot of trucks came down to pit under that last commercial break, and now Powers to the inside of Trago. And Brady Powers picks up the race lead from the number 37 Silverado. So Powers is through to the point. He's not the only one that's looking about the chart, as Mike Allen will take it to the inside of Ryan McRoberts, who this time by working through turn numbers 1 and 2 and through the quad oval. McRoberts will fall down to that number 7 spot as Mike Allen takes control with the number 6 spot up the road. How about that fight for the race lead? Now catching up to some slower traffic. Dale Rapp and KCL is about to get in the way and disrupt this this mad dash here that these guys have been having. Rapp goes to the bottom, Ellis up top. They'll split them 3 wide up the middle. Oh, but one of them will at least, as Trevor Trago getting caught out. And will lose about 0.2 of a second. Casey Ellis and Christopher Howell are the 2 trucks in this little group here that are all to the battle for position. Dale Rapp is just kind of in survival mode at this rate as Howell gets by Ellis. And Archie Buchanan cycles through as well. Still waiting on a host of drivers coming down into pit road, as well as pretty much everybody now spread out around the entirety of this racetrack. So if we are going to get any sort of caution, I would imagine it would probably be coming from a self-spin at this point in time with how late into the race we're starting to get here. As Allen continues to break away from McRoberts, that leaves now Powers and Trago. The lone battle on the racetrack as he worked down to 1 and 2. Or 3 and 4, excuse me. Oh, man. You can still see how high banked turn numbers 3 and 4 are, kind of much like how the older version of Texas was. And 1 and 2 used to be that way as well, but back in 2017, they completely remodeled 1 and 2. They made it wider. They lessened the banking on that. And interestingly enough, that's where we've seen about half our incidents tonight. The other half have been entering turn 3. So it's either exiting 2 or entering 3 where the problems seem to have come about. It's been the calamity section of the racetrack, and that might be contributing to some of the action, to put it mildly, that we've been seeing over the last little while. Still waiting on about 1st through 10th to work their way into pit road. Everybody behind them hit pit around lap 84. Everybody still needs one more pit stop, and I do believe you pit from here, you can go to the end. So we're at that point where drivers are going to have to be starting to work their way up and around where we can settle ourselves down and just making a mad dash to the final lap. Carson Batol and Bill Hales starting to get embroiled in a little battle of their own. This is the fight for 4th as it fights its way down around onto the front straightaway, and you can see Look at how much Hales has been reeling in Baytall over the last little while as Hales has been chipping away 10th after 10th, lap after lap, and now looks at the top to try to get around Carson Baytall here entering turn 3. Sets up a run, powers by on the top shelf, and Bill Hales is through as Carson Baytall hits pit road. Baytall with about 30 laps to go. Caution is out, and that changes everything. As Casey Ellis takes it to pit road, he was the cause of our yellow flag, and now it is going to be pandemonium towards the end. And this is all by himself, as I predict. Whoa, hello. He goes down onto the apron. Just scrapes along the inside wall, and that brought a caution out? He was all the way on the apron. I'm curious. Well, he's in full control, so what that tells me here is that he's had a hardware failure of some sort. I'm willing to bet a screen went black, which is why I turned it hard to the inside, just trying to get out, down and out of the way. And, well, that'll do it then for Casey Ellis. Expecting Powers and more to come down to pit road. Expect everybody to be hitting pit road here, as these are now critical laps. And Powers going to have to do whatever he can to try to put himself into a winning position. See everybody working down and into the lane. These are the laps that these guys last pitted on, as it's looking to be about 4 tires and fuel so far all around. I'd be surprised if we had anything but, to be frank. Powers led them in. He will lead them out. As one by one, drivers cycle their way out of pit road and back onto the racetrack. All of that put into mind now, I think we can give a chat to one of the other drivers here under the caution flag, and you know what? See if we can get in touch with some of the Wanted Goons drivers. We'll give a chat to the driver that is has made up some of the most spots out of anybody so far today. We'll try to get in touch with Trevor Trago. Trevor, this is Lil Rebel up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, it's been a great night for you so far. You find yourself now running third, and I think this caution is going to upset a lot of drivers that were looking to make strategic calls. It's the mad dash at the end. What are you going to have to do to survive it?
Working with teammates, we were able to save a set of tires here, so we still got one in the pits if we need it. But that caution came out perfectly just for fuel. We should be able to make it here from the end, hopefully.
The restarts have been interesting, to put it mildly, and now that it's looking like lap traffic won't be so much of a problem, do you expect the aggression to be high?
I honestly have no idea what to expect, but I'm going to be ready for anything.
What's the goal then for the night with you now running third behind your teammate Brady Powers there?
Just keep it clean, make sure we get a good finish, and at the end of the day, just have some fun.
Well, fair enough. We'll let you get back down to work. Good luck out there on the restart.
All right, thank you.
Trevor Trago for the Wanted Goons crew, making his series debut here tonight, and he is up 15 positions, up into the number 2 spot now. Bill Hales has made the most spots up out of anybody. He has made up 21, runs in 4th, and what has been one of his highest positions that is maintained on pace alone all race long, or all season long. Carson Baytall and Dale Rapp will be the 2 drivers who will get that wave around when we go lights out, I believe, this time by. Pretty much everybody has come on down to pit, predictably as such. Which means we will now have just 14 trucks on the lead lap and we get set to go racing once again. Powers wants to get going. Pulling it alongside the pace truck and squirming around a little bit. The number 7 is anxious to get rolling. It's a Wanted Goons 1-2. Bobby Blauer sits in third. This is not a traditional front row. We're so used to seeing either Badger Racing or Average Joe Motorsports with Aaron Raymond in tow on the front row nowadays. This is so unorthodox. I mean, you got McRoberts, Blowers, Allen, Lane all up here in the mix. It's not what you'd expect to see. Average Joe Motorsports sitting way back in, I believe, 9th and 10th on row number 5. It's a lot of room for these guys to play around with now up in the front. Hedge your bets. Do we get a new team and a new driver onto victory lane at the end of the night? My money is on yes. Pace truck is into pit road, and it'll be in the hands of Brady Powers, who works into the restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. Powers trying to hang on as Trevor Trago will try to fire it off around the top side of the racetrack. Bobby Blowers sits in third. Thomas Lane Jr. in fourth. McRoberts in fifth. We swing all the way out the racetrack behind. Powers clears for the lead down the back stretch. Blowers tucks in line for third. Less than 30 laps to go. It is a straight shot to the end of the race on fuel. Carson Baytall is into pit road. He has a restart penalty. He'll fire his way in, and Slagle is in as well. Brad Slagle also into pit road. He's already a lap down. But this is going to be an effective race center now for the number 052. Powers working around through 3 and 4. Secures the race lead out of turn number 4. Meanwhile, just behind, Christopher Howler, Ryan McRoberts battling it out for 6th and 7th, and Howell clears down to turn 1. Behind, Thomas Lane Jr. sends it up the inside, or up the outside of Brennan Gregg, as Gregg will fire through into 4th. And now Brady Powers trying to get a run on Trevor Trago. Trying to build up a gap as we work out of the final corners, or the first corners. And now Trago funneling into a line just behind. The aggression continues to mount more and more as Howell and Lane lock horns. Up the road, Blowers and Gregg aren't done with their own little battle. You got squabbles everywhere on the racetrack, and now Brandon Gregg trying to set himself up for another race win. He hasn't had many. He's trying to go for another one tonight. As they remain side by side for third, and Brandon Gregg able to pull clear out of turn 4. Just behind, Mike Allen and Ryan McRoberts in a fight for 7th. It's down the old one. Carson Baytall now trying to regain some lost ground. He'll fight to the inside, or the outside, excuse me, of RJ Buchanan as Baytall clears for 14th. And up front, McRoberts now under fire by Mike Allen. Allen opened up the door to turn 4 and will lunge to the inside of 1. And McRoberts slips back to 8th. Up front, Trevor Trago still trying to catch Brady Powers, now having to more play rear gunner support for Brandon Gregg with 19 laps to go. Can he keep a charging 27 at bay? Doesn't look like it. The Tech for Troops Tundra to the bottom of 1 and 2. Brandon Gregg trying to pick off Trevor Trago as Trago fights back to the outside line. Gregg works the bottom. Trago works the top. Gregg's through to 2nd, and now Trevor Trago tucks in line for 3rd before Bobby Blowers can open up the door. Oh, trouble, crash, big crash in turn number 2. Mike Allen has been spun hard into the outside wall. Caution is out with less than 20 to go. Allen backs it down to the bottom of the racetrack. Brady Powers has the race lead. Well, let's get a look on what happened to Mike Allen here. This is working through 3 and 4. He's in a fight with Ryan McRoberts, so I wouldn't be surprised if this had some contact behind it. Coming around the front stretch, out of the quad oval. Oh, yeah. Definitely contact as both trucks spun into the outside wall, and Allen coming to a slow stop. We'll get a ride on board with Ryan McRoberts in this. This is just a bit of net code and a little bit of net code and a little bit of just 2 drivers going for the same piece of real estate. That's about as racing incident as you can get. And that now holds us under caution flag number 5. We'll once again jump back, and we'll return for the last 15 or so laps of racing action from Fort Worth. You're watching the TNGG IEL Truck Series on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Still under caution flag number 5 as we work lap 119 of 133 in the Yeehaw 200 for race number 22 of 28 in the TNGG IEL Truck Series. We're going to be taking a look on how the schedule is going to shake on up as we'll get set to go racing throughout the last month and a half or so of racing. We'll, of course, kick things off with Pocono next week. From there, we'll have Eldora, Daytona. We'll be returning there for the Oval for our last Super Speedway race of the season. Then we'll go to Bristol for the last short track race of the season. Finish out with Gateway and, of course, the Championship 195 at Homestead Miami Speedway. Now, one name may have caught your eye. Eldora. Yes, Eldora Speedway returns to Truck Series racing action. It's not a race we were expecting to have. It was not on the schedule at the start of the season. That originally was the Charlotte Roval. So it's going to be a road course race. But a lot of the drivers were making talks about the setups, and were mentioning that the setup was feeling a bit too loose, and there was a lot of concerns, I think, that that these guys wouldn't be able to race clean enough with it. So they held a vote when Eldora was thrown around. Do you want to run at the Roval? Do you want to run on a dirt track? Guess which one won out. So the Dark County 150 straight laps will be at the Eldora Speedway in just 2 weeks' time. So all of that is going to make for some exciting action over the next little while over here on Saturday nights. It's a shame it's all coming to a close before November. But hey, we are definitely looking forward to seeing what's going to be coming on up over the next few months when we get set to go race for season number 5. Pace trucks into pit road. 12 laps the distance. We enter the restart zone, this time by in the hands of the RC starter. Green flag's up in the air, and Powers launches hard. Christopher Howell shoving teammate Brendan Gregg around the top side of 1 and 2, and Gregg trying to pick up the lead early here on the restart. Side by side each for the race lead, and Powers able to clear. Blocks down to the bottom, and Brendan Gregg's not having it. Forces the door open down to the inside line and goes for the send. And Brendan Gregg to the point at Texas Motor Speedway as Powers falls to second. There was a block. Gregg said, nope, I got a battering ram with me, and kicked the door open and sent it down the inside of 3 and 4. Powers isn't done fighting, though. He'll work to the top shelf now, 1 and 2. And now, Gregg repays the favor with a block down the backstretch. Powers trying to do whatever he can to reel in Brendan Gregg just behind. Trevor Trago trying to keep Christopher Howell from getting back out there. We're tag teaming this thing here as we work our way back into 1 and 2. The veterans at Average Joe Motorsports going up against the rookies in Wanted Goons. And right now, I'd have to say the old guard is winning. Brady Powers gets to the back bumper. He'll nudge Gregg up the track. He goes to the race lead. 10 laps to go. Powers fires to the bottom, and now Brendan Gregg will slip down to second. Here comes Trevor Trago trying to establish a run. Round 2 down the back straightaway. And Trago not letting Gregg breathe an inch. Powers drives through on the bottom, secures the lead. Trago trying to walk Gregg back to give Powers some room to run away. Bobby Blowers this last time by setting the fastest lap down to the 8th spot with a 30.25. The only driver to break into the 30.2 bracket all race long. This battle for the lead is not even close to being settled. It is all eyes up front. This is going to be a mammoth battle for the win. Now the big question is Trevor Trago a team player, or is he looking to go for the glory himself? Christopher Howell will take to the inside of Brandon Gregg. And could Average Joe Motorsports be thinking, well, we tried it with you. Let's try it with him instead. Working out of turn number 4 and back around to 1. The top 2 pulling away. Christopher Howell going to try to pick up third, and he'll do so. But here comes Blowers looking to spoil the party. Where did Bobby Blowers come from as he'll try to fight to the inside of 3 and 4? Oh, bobbles off the bottom. Look out as Greg nearly run over off the exit. So is Paul Witt, as Witt did the same. Oh, man, and all the while, Bill Hales looking to work his way up as well. Still the most spots gained out of anybody, plus 18, trying to make it 19. Folks at home, hold on to your hats. Tug those belts tight. It's going to get wild at the Texas Motor Speedway as Flowers to the bottom of Howell, picks up third. Who would have thought that it would come down to one of the rookie teams? We knew they had some pace from their performance at Phoenix last week, but I was not expecting this entering tonight. But Bobby Blowers looking to upset everything. He'll shoot to the inside and go for second. Bobby Blowers has not gotten a race win all season long. He has only gotten 2 podiums, both in third. Sorry, he's only gotten 1 podium, and it came from Dover. So Bobby Blowers going for his first win on the season. And he'll take it to the inside of Brady Powers. To the inside. The 34 bounce on the bottom. Look out! And hard into the outside wall. Bobby Blowers is taken out. And the caution is out. That puts us to overtime. Bobby Blowers, a heavy shot into the outside wall, and that is it. Going for the first win, and it is penthouse to the outhouse for the number 34. Blowers takes a heavy shot to the outside wall, and this is how it happened. Working to turn numbers 3 and 4. Drifted off the bottom. Brady Powers is pinching him in, and he got hit as well by Paul Witt. Man, that is a tough break on board. Right there, just clipped the apron. Nothing I think that Brady Powers could do. On board with Powers. And Powers didn't even go down. That is heartbreaking for Paul Witt. That is, again, one of the hardest shots we have seen taken into that outside wall all race long. And again, look at this, as that is, heavy hits. And then again, kicked up by Paul Witt. And right here comes Ryan McRoberts, just able to find a way around. So, with my throat having been thoroughly eviscerated, courtesy of these guys, thanks for that, by the way, Trevor Trago has the race lead. Brady Powers, as a result of all that mess, fell to third. Christopher Howell is second. Brandon Gregg is fourth. Wantagoons will be taking up the 1-2 positions on the bottom, with Average Joe Motorsports taking the 1-2 on the top, and this is forcing us to green-white checkered territory. Now the big question that these guys are going to be having is how many green-white checkered attempts are we going to have? And the answer to that question, it's going to be 1. One attempt. One shot to go for the win here tonight. And if a caution comes out again, it's the end. So we have one more. Oh boy, 2 more laps left. 2 more racing laps left with us here tonight as holy cow. I'm sorry, I am speechless. Oh, I've got nothing. This is by far one of the most exciting races we've had all season. And I think in the case of truck racing at Texas, I'm scared to say it, I like Texas again. This has been one of the best races, one of the most dramatic and intense races we have had all season long. What a night. And it's not over. Three miles of racing will be left. I feel, I'm hurting. I'm hurting for Bobby Blowers. I really am. That was... Was Powers pinching him down? Yes. But he wasn't pinching him enough to hook him. That all started when Blowers himself clipped the apron. He just got too aggressive attacking that apron, and when he hooked the transition, it was over. Blowers is back on the racetrack. He's running in 13th now because of all of that. He did have a quick repair still in store, so he has that going for him, but he will not be able to go for a win tonight, which is just heartbreaking. Again, he's only had one podium. It came at Dover, and he was going for his first win in his career with the IEL Truck Series, and it fell apart. It's the only way you can describe it. It fell apart. Will Christopher Howell reel in the points lead to Aaron Raymond with a win? Or will he reel it in with a number 2 finish? Trego has the lead in his first ever start in the IEL Truck Series. Pace truck will pull in this time by 2 laps, 3 miles in the Lone Star State. Into the restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. It's overtime from Texas. We just have to make it down to the white flag, and then it's all bets are off. Trevor Trego takes out the race lead. Here comes Brady Powers. Christopher Howell trying to find something, anything from the top shelf. Working the high banks of 3 and 4. Back to the front straightaway. Final lap into the air. And here comes Christopher Howell. We're crashing out of turn number 4. Big crash on the front straightaway. Multi-truck pileup is the big one on the front straightaway. Amaro takes the inside wall. Ellis goes with him, but it's too little, too late. Now it's all down to the final lap. Brady Powers duking it down with Brendan Gregg. It's between Howell and Trego. Into 3 and 4 for the final time tonight. Trego going for a first. Howell trying to reel him in. Bump and run out of the final corner. Christopher Howell charging through it, and Christopher Howell snags victory at the Texas Motor Speedway. Long live Average Joe Motorsports as they'll secure a 1-2 finish. Trego is bump and run for the win out of 4. He'll slide through the grass. My God, what a finish. What an almighty finish. No words, absolutely no words. Howell knew he had to get it done. Get it done he did. As now he will burn it down on the front straightaway. He will not burn it down on the front straightaway as he's going to Sid Stage, I think he's also speechless, to be completely frank. Here's a look on what happened coming to that final lap out of turn number 4, where all hell broke loose in the background. As this is all going to be coming down to it. You see there were 3 wide up the road. I think it was Blowers that hit the outside wall, and we'll try to get a better look at this one. You can see them all wrecking big time, and then Robert Amaro, hooked by Ellis, slams the inside barrier. It all started with Greg Pillar up the road. Watch Bobby Blowers taking it around the top side, and he's going to slam the outside wall here and rebounds right down, and that collects half the field coming to the final lap. Hefty hits, and then Christopher Howell got the drive going now to turn number 2 down the backstretch. Worked around into 3 and 4 this time by, and right here, he's going to put the bumper to Trevor Trago. Hooks the 37 around, and he himself will score the race win with Brendan Gregg just nipping P2 at the line. What a night of racing, as we'll get a look on the race results here top to bottom from a wild night from the Yeehaw 200. Christopher Howell taking the race win. Brendan Gregg picks up the number 2 spot. Brady Powers from Mach 1 Racing. And Wanta Goons brings it home in 3rd. Trevor Trago was 4th. Bill Hales in 5th. Thomas Lee Jr. is 6th. John Holiday 7th. Mike Allen in 8th. Paul Witt, R.G. Buchanan round out the top 10. Blowers in 11th. Greg Pillar is 12th. John Walter Jr. 13th. Mick Roberts is 14th. Carson Batol finishes this race. The first truck 1 lap down. And moving down to the field, you got Dale Rapp, Brad Slago, Robert Jordan, Casey Ellis, Robert Amaro, Aaron Raymond, Selena Thompson, Caleb McNeil, Tristan Bayer, Julian Ballou, and Tim Setzer not starting the race here tonight. Again, just, man, I got nothing. I am stock speechless after that one. Let's see if we can't talk to some of the main runners at the end of the night here. We'll jump first, obviously, to the likes here of Christopher Howell, the driver that was able to take home the race win in what ended up being one of the wildest races that we have seen all season long. And we will kick things off first with the likes of the number 1 truck. Christopher Howell takes it home. It is another race win, and boy, oh boy, Chris, I have no words. That was one of the wildest finishes I've ever seen. Walk us through those last 2 laps as a whole.
Yeah, I do want to apologize to the truck that was in front of me, the number 37. I ran him pretty tight, and I'm not sure if he was getting loose before I touched him or if he got loose because I touched him, but I do apologize for that because I never want to win like that. So, yeah, again, I apologize. But all in all, it was a pretty good race. I had some really good strategy. The cautions were just killing my strategy. I had the freshest tires out of everybody on the long runs, and the fastest truck out there, just catching everybody. And yeah.
It kind of walks through the race as a whole. You mentioned the cautions were kind of being strategy ruiners, and it's not the first time we've been to Texas, and it is the second time we've been to Texas where we've had a pretty caution-filled race, all things considered. But the racing, just like it was the first time we came here, was out of this world. Some of the most aggressive we've seen all season long. What do you think it was about this place that contributed to that tonight?
Well, I mean, the truck is already loose, especially like coming off of 4. So if you have a truck to the outside of you or directly behind you, it'll take some of the air off the back. So yeah, that's probably what contributed to most of those incidents. I'm not sure, what most of the wrecks were, but I know it made it a handful.
And of course, looking forward, we move to Pocono 1 week from now, and after that, it is a bit of a shock addition to the schedule. Eldora is going to be making a surprise appearance just 2 weeks from now. Over the next couple of weeks, it's bound to be another couple of wild ones. What do you expect we could expect from the rest of September here?
Well, I'm not a dirt racer, so that'll be foreign to me. So I'll have to put some time in on that track and see what I can do The rest of the tracks, I don't really know what the schedule is, but again, I probably made up a ton of points on Aaron again this week. But unfortunately, I have a trip to go on, so I'll miss at least probably one more race. So all I can do is show up every week and try to close in on the points, and maybe might be able to give it a run. Maybe I can pull something off and maybe race in a hotel or something. So we'll see.
Well, you've definitely managed to reel in that points gap a bunch here tonight, and we'll wish you the best of luck then moving forward. For now, congratulations on the hard-earned race win.
I appreciate it. I just want to shout out to my teammates, Average Joe Motorsports, Brennan, Brad, and all the guys back at AJM that support the team, that's on the team, and that watch the broadcast and some of the streams of some of the fellow teammates. So yeah.
That was Christopher Howell joining us up here from Moyock, North Carolina, the driver that takes home a hard-earned race win. We'll move down to number 2 on the grid. It is the driver that just is able to pick second place at the line, and Brandon Gregg. So close again to a race win, but boy, you and Christopher Howell and the old guard, you really had to take the fight to some of the rookie teams out there here in this one. Kind of walk us through what these last 2 laps were like from your perspective.
These last few laps, I was just trying to get Chris up there as far as I could. Glad he could end up getting up there. That was awesome to watch from behind. And then saw an opportunity outside of the 7, so took that and ended up getting P2 out of it.
Kind of walks through the strategy game tonight, because obviously that was one of the big talking points throughout the course of the night, was how the cautions fell. It was really upsetting a lot of driver strategy. Chris is mentioning that was one of the frustrations for him throughout the course of the race. What was it like from your perspective there?
Yeah, absolutely. The cautions messed up a lot of the strategy, especially that I think it was lap 102 or something like that. It blew up just about any kind of strategy we had left. I'm just happy to be able to be up here this far. Strategy was supposed to be, I think, 5 stops equally spaced, but that didn't end up working out.
With this second place, you're easily going to propel yourself into the top 10 now in the points, or at least closer to it. Is the goal still to go for and maintain a 10th place at the very least here in the points in these last 5 races?
It's not a goal in particular. I'm running this series part-time, and I'm probably going to miss next week. So I'm just hoping I can finish as high as I can for this.
Well, you're definitely doing a good job on that one so far. We'll wish you the best of luck whenever we see you out next. Congratulations on that second place finish in Fort Worth.
Thank you.
We'll move things on down, as that was Brendan Gregg joining us from Vancouver, Washington, and that brings it up for the third place driver, the driver that just got picked at the line for the number 2 spot. Brady Powers joins us up in the booth, and Brady, it's first off, it's a pleasure to have a new driver up at the broadcast booth with us here on this one. For you and your team, it was a hard-fought fight all the way down to the last running there. Kind of walk us through these last 20 laps or so.
We kind of came into it knowing that we had a good strategy. Me and Trevor really worked well on our strategy together. We just ran out the car to the end of the fuel, could let us go, and they're just at the end. One car had the speed on us, and looks like he got to Trevor's outside. I tried to stay on Trevor's inside and just kind of stay with my teammate there, and then I kind of screwed up 1 and 2 on that last lap, gave the outside car some speed, and then in 3 and 4, he just got me.
What's it like coming in as a newer team? Because obviously, Wanted Goons made their series debut just last week in Avondale, Arizona, down at the Phoenix Raceway. So coming in as a new team, how does it feel to be able to make such a strong start and show that you've got the abilities to battle with some of the best of them here?
It feels pretty good. I had a feeling that we'd be pretty good. Scott brought us on, and we're just a good little team that tries our best every week, but knowing that we can run with the best of the best here kind of shows us that we can win some.
I guess in that, with that in mind, what's going to be the goal then for that number 7 truck and for the rest of the team, as we only have 5 races left now on the season?
We're definitely going to put forth our best effort and try to see if we can take home at least 1, maybe 2 more wins. And just try to keep it clean out there. I know other people are racing for points, and we came in a little later, so there's that to think about while we're racing these cars. But other than that, I'd say we're we're looking to fight for a win.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck then in your efforts to try to go and battle it out for the win. For now, though, congratulations on the hard-earned third-place finish. Who knows? Maybe it'll be 2, even 1 better when we go racing at Pocono next week.
Hopefully.
That was Brady Powers joining us up here from Denver, North Carolina, the driver that comes home to take himself into the final podium position, and that's going to be about it then for us here on Green Flag TV. What an absolutely wild night of racing it was. By far, one of the most intense races I think that we have seen all season long, and we will continue to see all season long. Next time we go racing, it'll be down in Pennsylvania over at the Keystone State for Pocono, when we'll go racing one final time for the Pocono 187, 75 laps of the distance. Then, of course, Dark County 150 at the Eldora Speedway for 150 laps on the 23rd. We wrap out the month of September with the Crypto 225 Daytona International Speedway. For now, though, here from Texas, it is time to say farewell. My name has been Nolan Rempel. Be sure to tune in on Monday nights to the Pro Car Concepts Road Challenge Series, as well as Austin Edstrom and I returning for the High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Cup Series from Avondale, Arizona, when they go racing down at Phoenix. It's been a wild one. It's been a fun one. We'll see if we can't lock away with some more thrilling racing every single week on almost every single day right here, same time, same place on Green Flag TV.